I do believe we're live, but I'm trying to get. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you for finding some time to join me again for us to share and things that bring us hope. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about that, about the benefits of community. And the more and more we kind of continue down the rabbit hole of what does community mean to us, why is community important, the value of community in one way or another, it became very clear to me that the thing that this community has brought us, and I believe it was Mojo who said it like that directly in the comment section, is that this space has brought them hope. That because of this space, because of our friends, because of our willingness to come together the way that we have things to hope for. Whisper. It's nice having you here, friend. Hello to you too. Are you hopeful? Do you feel hopeful, Whisper? Maybe it's hard. I think it might actually be harder feeling hopeful in a big old city like Tokyo. Right? Because there's so much else. There's so many instances potentially that can convince you that things aren't hopeful. And I'm curious. I want to hear from you directly. How have you, or let's say instead, have you been hopeful? And if you've been hopeful, what have you been hopeful about? I see the sun is close. Part of me feels like I should probably move a little bit forward. See if I can do that without... Okay, I'm gonna have to lengthen, and then I'll... Oh! There we go. That should be good enough. Everything is wet here on the ground alongside me, which is something I'm a little bit... I don't know where I can put my leather down. I'll put it down here behind me, yes. And then we'll take out the rest of our things. Hopefulness. Are you feeling hopeful? Are you feeling hopeful? Maybe I can start by saying that I am. I am feeling hopeful. Despite all of the things that have happened on our earth, despite the state we're in right now, despite the wars, despite the economies, despite the presidencies, there is still so much to hope for. I'm hopeful for the way we're going to connect with one another. I'm hopeful about the friends we're still yet to make. I'm hopeful that we will show up in kindness with one another. I just got a message from Christian sending me weather reports. That's not hopeful. South Africa, yellow level 4. What's this? What's this about? Gonna work?
Yellow level 4 warning for severe thunderstorms with destructive winds and heavy downpours has been issued by the South African Weather Service. The rainfall is expected to lead to flooding of roads and settlements. Damage to low-lying areas and bridges is also expected across Gauteng, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, the Northwest, Free State, and KwaZulu-Natal. The public is warned to avoid crossing flooded roads and low-lying bridges.
I don't know. Not very hopeful. I see two different forms of hope in me. One backed by excitement and one backed by concern. I feel like that's something worthy of more exploration, Joe. A hope backed by concern. I think I have some of that hope as well. The way it's manifesting in my life is that I have a concern that our traditional fiat money system might be failing. But at the same time, it brings me hope in the way that we're going to be expected to create something new for ourselves. Hey, Joy Vive is here too. Hey, Joy. Right? That's the hope part in the concern. And then there is, the excitement part of me that is hopeful with what AI is going to continue bringing into our world, the advances in technology, the advances in interoperability. That's one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most, is for my things to be able to actually talk to one another. The way we talk to one another, right? In the same way that we have been able to build ourselves lives of connection, of love, of consideration of one another and our worlds. I do think that we're going to be able to do stuff like that with the rest of our communication industries as well. I should have some bud left here. Yeah, I do. Nice. Piece of my grinder fell to the ground. It is so freaking wet here in South Africa right now. It's been above 70% humidity constantly for the last 2 weeks, which makes my bud extra fluffy. Hey, Whisper. New profile picture again. You and your creativities. You do look like fun. I also like dressing up ridiculously, but I don't have hair as cool as yours. Putting this thing away. All right. Hope. Let me see if I can challenge. Why can I say that word? Channel. There we go. Let's see if I can channel us into subconscious evolution. Maybe we can think about something that's going to serve us. Me and my friends are having a conversation about things to hope for. I started the conversation by sharing a little bit about how I'm hopeful for the future. One of our friends shared the fact that there is 2 types of hope in her. One hope is the fact that there might be things to be concerned about, and that concern might lead to changes that can be hoped for, that are hopeful in that way. And on the other side, there is hope backed by excitement. You know, things that make us feel like there is still things to look forward to in the future. Can you please help me create like a whole little list, of talking points about things that we need to be hopeful for in the next 10 years, next 20 years? So to give us almost like something to anchor our minds on, instead of being focused on all of the things that we don't appreciate about our world right now. Searchy. I'm taking ticks off of Pippi here in the sidelines if you're wondering what I'm busy with. All right. So first and foremost, there's environmental hope. I think that's one that I particularly lack the most. I sometimes have a hard time hoping that the environment's going to be okay. But that being said, we did have a whole conversation just a few days ago about, was it yesterday? Might have been the day before yesterday. About how, despite the fact that there's a lot of talks of global warming right now, and the effects of it can be felt in countries like Africa, there is also this understanding within the scientific community that for every single Celsius, every 1 Celsius, the global climate increases in temperature, it also increases the ability to hold water by 7%. So the environmental hope in me is that yes, the Earth will get hotter. Like we're already on that trajectory, unfortunately. But instead of it being like a dry, like a Mars wasteland, seeing it as like a lush, humid and green forest, absolutely popping off on planet Earth. The key talking points is there is a renewable energy revolution starting right now, which China is leading, by the way. Right, China has 710 gigawatts of solar installed. The accelerated adoption of clean energy sources like solar, wind, and geothermal could reduce our carbon footprint significantly. There are literally, that is happening right now, global reforestation projects where massive efforts to replant forests and restore ecosystems are being undertaken. Breakthroughs in sustainable living, innovations in eco-friendly architecture, sustainable architecture, and biodegradable materials for everyday use. I look forward to us eating out of mycelium containers in that way, right, instead of eating out of plastic ones. Then there is technological hope. There is definitely going to be some advances in medicine, curing things like cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and improving global health and longevity. This is something that I talk about all the time. I cannot shut the fuck up about that specific part as well, because it brings me hope, right? And that is what I try and do with this conscious evolution. This stream is one for hoping. I make so many typos. You are loved always. You can make all the typos and we'll still love you. We'll look right past those typos and love you anyway. There is potential cures, yeah. Then there's going to be AI and robotics for good, I believe. The use of AI and robotics in solving global challenges, from disaster response to eradicating poverty. Ooh, man, I love those two words. Let's say it again. Eradicating poverty. Eradicate. That's a cool word, don't you think? Let's eradicate poverty. Taking it as like a set of pride, you know? Being ashamed. If poverty wins, we're pretty weak, yo. We suck ass. I'm sorry. I'm pushing it too hard now. Then there's going to be space exploration. I don't know if that... I mean, maybe it could. I wanted to say, I don't know if that brings people hope. But it should. It should bring people hope, because space explorations... Space exploration does bring hope in the way of, our species has ambitions, right? Our species has the ambition of seating life on other planets, on our stars, no, on our moons, excuse me. You know, and in a way, we're pushing our species forward in a way that we might not have before. And that does, at least to some, generate some hope. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Look up at this little letter pouch. Okay, then there is the reason for social hope, where there is going to be increased global connectivity. That is what we started talking about today, right? That's the first thing that I actually mentioned, is the social hope. The increased global connectivity, that these devices are already communicating amongst themselves, and us, with these devices, are communicating amongst ourselves. And that connectivity, that interconnectivity, the bandwidth within which we are interconnected, is only going to increase. And this is something to hope for. This is something that's hopeful. A more connected world through better internet access, education, collaboration, and shared creativity. Fuck yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. What more of that, please? Then there's going to be equality movements that gain ground. Yeah. A progress in gender equality, racial justice, and inclusion for all, leading to a more harmonious society. Exactly. Because we, one, will have the ability to account for every single person. If every single one of them has access to the internet, has access to education, is allowed the room to help and collaborate, give their efforts towards some sort of project that they feel is valuable. What about the AI takeover? The AI is still going to need us in so many words, right? Like, we are spending every waking moment as scientists in the language model. And I'm saying every waking moment as in, at any moment, there is someone awake working on AI right now. Right, that is happening right now. And in this pursuit of creating this AI, we are basically trying to replicate what we already are. Right? We're using billions of dollars, and let's say we're using millions of dollars in labor on billions of dollars worth of equipment in hopes of creating something worth trillions of dollars down the line. But that's something we're trying to create that will be worth trillions of dollars. You already are. Right? Have you thought about that? I think that brings me hope. Realizing that we are actively trying to recreate what you already are. And we're trying to recreate it because in doing so, we will have help on an order of magnitude that we cannot necessarily expect of the individual human being. That being said, your value as this artificial general intelligence will not go away. I do think it will change, right? There was this one story that I heard recently. It is a Veritasium video about, hey Google, who designed the SPR protocol? SPR, not SBR. Hi. SPR, thank you. This is some different SPR. Oh my fucking goodness. It's basically a photocopier of DNA. We give it a piece of DNA, or we're trying to test for a certain DNA, and then we replicate that piece of DNA over and over again until the point where we have a large data set. Right? And in that way, the reason he came to that conclusion, to that discovery, is because of automation. Right? Like a machine started doing his job for him. And because his job was being done for him, he had the capacity to think in a new layer. Right? Like this layer of like labor, to say it in this way, like all of us are still in one way or another attached to this labor layer of our reality. And that labor layer is going to slowly but surely be saturated by artificial intelligences. And in that way, every single person that gets decoupled from that labor layer, some people think we're going to go down, we're going to go in destitute, we're going to go into hopelessness, we're going to go into feeling worthless. And some people will. I'm willing to acknowledge that. But the layers above still exist, right? They're still available to every single one of us. And if we can think in ways that we are literally not allowed to think right now, we're going to solve the problems and think about new solutions to our lives in a way that we might not be able to right now. Right, so yeah, I feel like that whole little snippet, reason for hope. You're pretty great. They're literally trying to create what you already are. That being said, there will be, I hope at least, improved mental health awareness, where the stigmatization of mental health struggles, destigmatization of health struggles, and greater access to mental health resources worldwide, especially with artificial intelligence, right? Where now you have someone who is infinitely patient, always willing to listen to your problems, always willing to add perspective that is literally the collective of all humanities, you know? So you get to talk to everyone. Because their mental health problems might stem from not having human connection. However, I do think that is a problem some of us will try and solve for, right? Like there will be people that feel disconnected from humanity, and then there will be people that also feel that way, and then we'll be doing something about that. They will have workshops, they will have seminars, they will have get-togethers, they will have psytrance parties, they will have etc., in order to almost like give these opportunities for human beings to break themselves out of the cycle of non-connection and actually allow themselves some of that connection. This is what I look forward to. Huzzah! Cultural hope. A rise in hope-driven communities. Yeah, I was just talking about that. Like just now talking about a rise of purpose-driven communities, growth of communities prioritizing meaning, well-being, and connection over consumerism. Fuck yeah. Preservation of indigenous wisdom, a resurgence in valuing indigenous cultures and their substantial and their sustainable approaches to living in harmony with nature. Yeah. And there will be, and I believe this undoubtedly. I also believe this biasedly, I'm willing to admit, that there will be an artistic renaissance, a creative explosion in art, music, and storytelling inspired by humanity's resilience and diversity. Then there is, you see, there's like lists, there's so much things to hope for. We're not even like halfway through the list. Okay, we're like halfway through the list. We're like 30%. We're entering now the other 30 to 50% right now. Social hope. But I'm willing to admit that too. There will be personal and spiritual hope, a greater emphasis on mindfulness, increase adaptation of mindfulness practices like yoga and meditation for mental and emotional health. Absolutely. Again, bias. I sure do hope I get more clients or students. Students sounds a little bit more righteous. Reconnection with nature. More people embracing outdoor activities, finding balance and inspiration in the natural surroundings. Individual empowerment. People realizing their ability to make small changes in their daily lives that collectively impact the world. Yeah, almost like this. Almost like the conscious evolutions we have been experiencing as a community. I'm going to read that one again. Individual empowerment. People realizing their ability to make small changes in their daily lives that collectively impact the world. Dream to. Hey, Hoopy, Mr. Mariner. Hi to you too. It's nice having you here. We're talking about things to hope for, bro. Like we're like absolutely stacking the hope. Akashadari, Akashwadari, Akashwadari, Akashwad. Person, turquoise waving. This thing doesn't show me the emojis. I'm gonna wave back to you. Love is true. Is that what you mean? LYT. Love you too. Maybe that's what it means. Bless you, dear friends. Nice having you here. More things to hope for. Next up, global vision hope. All right, as all of us come online, slowly but surely, we see, we observe what the hell's happening on the earth. And we, in our own ways, can be influenced by other people's narratives, but are ultimately influenced by our own immediate experiences as well. And there is, at least in my mind, and I haven't read the rest of that point yet, but I feel there is in every single person this want for improvement, right? This criticism of how things are being done right now. And I'm not saying that every single person is equipped or knows exactly what to do in order to make things better, but as our entirety becomes more intelligent because of our technology, there will be this global vision arising in our minds about what things are supposed to look like. Art is a form of communication. Sometimes I need to talk to myself. I talk to myself while making my art, Dream Tooth. Literally. I spend a lot of time talking to myself. And I believe in one way or another that problem solving and communication that was happening in my mind translates to my art and says things to you when you look at it. You might not understand the language that's being spoken, but things are being said. Again, global vision for hope, an international collaboration on big challenges where countries start working together on climate change, yeah, pandemics, yeah, and economic inequality. Yeah, Africa, yo. Like, can we please stop just stealing from Africa for a second? Just like a little bit, please. Universal basic needs met. Yeah, that's one big one actually that I feel needs to happen for our species. That's a big reason for hope as well. That's something that brings hope to me. A world where clean water, food, and shelter are accessible to everyone, reducing suffering globally. Right? That doesn't sound that much. Clean water, food, shelter. In these shelters, there is power, of course, internet connection, and next to these shelters are container boxes that have built into them artificially intelligent gene sequencers and, CRISPR-Cas9 editors. Who knows? Is that Makushia? Oh, let's still whisper. Whisper changing 17 things about herself in a single live stream. I always keep to myself. Uh, I mean, it's okay that you're here though in that way, right? Like you get to keep to yourself and still be a part of a little community in your own way too, doing what you need for yourself. And then there will be education for all, absolutely. Especially so with super teachers as artificial intelligences. Continued progress in ensuring everyone has access to quality education, regardless of where they are born. Yeah. And with the future that we're heading into, there already is right now satellite-based internet. This stream is being broadcasted with satellite-based internet, right? So that means I can literally go wherever I want to. And if I have enough money, I can connect to the internet, because I think it costs extra if you want to connect wherever, right? But if I wanted to connect anywhere in Africa, it costs me $100 a month, which is still a lot of money, admittedly. But now I can do this. I can connect with your friends. You can affect my life because of this literal connection that we have made. All right, and that is a type of, like, I am utilizing it for education as well, obviously, learning things on the back end. But I'm thinking about the future from the perspective of anywhere in the world, anyone will have access to the best teachers that exist. That is the future we're heading into, right? Like, that is actively the future we're taking now a step into. That is insanely awesome. That's so fucking cool for all of us. Yeah, human beings. Anywhere in the world, best education possible. And technically, it should be cheap as well, right? You should get the best education in the world, anywhere, for cheaper than it was to have an average education just 10 years prior, right? i.e., local government education system that you still have to buy books and pens and etc. for. You'll get a better education for cheaper with an AI that is properly trained, right? Like, I think Khan Academy. Hey Google, is Khan Academy's teacher AI any good yet? I'm not getting immediate answers. But they do have AI tutoring already, right? And Khan Academy is one of the leaders in online education. And they're already implementing with all of their database of curriculum and AI intelligence, right? And it doesn't just tell you what's happening, it doesn't just do the work for you. It's an actual teacher, right? So it sits down with you forever, right? Like having a parent there always, having a teacher there always, that you can ask a question whenever that can help you solve that problem now, right? That can help teach you how this problem is solved, right? That can give you multiple examples in it, realizing that you don't actually understand how this problem is solved just yet, until the point where it actually clicks for you. I'm so stoked. Like, as I'm reading this, the hope for the future is just bubbling more. Then there's technological excitement. I do get technologically excited. There is personalized learning. That's what we're just talking about. AI-driven tools revolutionizing education, making it tailored to every student's needs. Yeah, yeah. Clean transportation. Electric vehicles, hyperloop trains, and urban designs, minimizing pollution and traffic. And quantum computing, solving problems once thought impossible, revolutionizing industries for from health to security. And then the last point, and then we'll put this thing down, is the human potential for hope. All right, there will be breakthroughs in understanding consciousness, greater insights into the human mind, leading to profound changes in how we see ourselves. Hot take? I agree. And weirdly enough, one of the ways I think we're going to do that isn't going to just be by having the brain in front of us, and prodding at it in a way that we're like, oh yeah, this is now how it works. I think there will be a revolution, and I hope this. I think there will be a revolution where we figure out how to connect with ourselves, right? Like that, I feel, is ancient wisdom, right? Like, know thyself, get to really know who you are, and then you get to kind of show up in the world with that knowledge. I think brain-computer interfacing, having computers, technology in your body interfacing with your brain, there will be a level of knowing the self that, as this thing says, will change the way we see ourselves. It will change the way we see ourselves. And in that way, it will change the way we see others. And I hope, you see what I did there? I hope that these changes will come sooner rather than later. I wanted to say I hope they turn out for the best, but I trust they will. I just hope it comes sooner rather than later. A shift towards kindness and cooperation, more individuals and organizations prioritizing compassion in their decision making, especially with accountability, right? Like, it's not even about a social credit score. It's about the fact that the society that you're a part of knows, right? Is paying attention, is observing the same things that everyone else can see, right? If you're showing the world that you don't care about humanity, then, it's going to be hard for humanity to care about you. So in that way, there will be a shift towards kindness and cooperation. And then finally, there will be discovery of untapped creativity, new forms of artistic expression born from challenges and triumphs of our time. Those are a bunch of good points. Sure, I'm happy that I went through them with you, friends. I'm going to be here present with your comments for a second. Just for like a 1 second. Criticism on the rise? Maybe sometimes. This hopefulness list is nice. I'm happy that you're feeling it too, Jean. I don't know how you friends are feeling about the whole me reading on stream. Some of you clearly do not appreciate it because you leave. But at the same time, I think of it from a perspective of how can I add as many beats of information in a short period of time, right? Because I do sometimes, I don't know when I say I get stuck. I get very focused. I get so focused on a singular point that I might end up running around it multiple times to really get a good look at it. And then by the time I've run around it a bunch of times, I've tired myself out, and then I want to sit down instead of running to the next thing. Make sense? Yeah, totally. I always keep to myself, and we are our own people kind of society. True. This hopeful is nice. Bless again. I sat at a table of teachers yesterday who voiced many concerns over our education system. This hopefulness list does bring some light. The least I can do is hope for the best. Hoping for the best. It is true. Because you either hope for the best or you brace for the worst. Right? Up. That's bracing. Where hope is something that brings a smile to your face in a way, right? Instead of the opposite. I know that's not what we're talking about, but I don't see myself the same way as I did when I was a teenager. I don't either. Not in every way. There are some things that remain. I had a lot more confidence when I was a teenager, which is something that I think about sometimes. Right? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Is more confidence good? I think it's a balance. I think my level of confidence as a teenager was disproportionate with how much I knew. And even though I was right about all of the things I thought I knew back then, I was still wrong to think I knew anything at all. So very wrong. This is true. Melt, no. Yes. Fucking startled the shit out of me. I'm sorry. The firearms are being discharged. As a teenager, for example, Dreamtooth, the ways in which I've changed from a teenager is I wanted to be seen as someone to be feared when I was a teenager, right? And we can go down the psychological rabbit holes, but having done all of that, I have come to the conclusion that I, at that point of my life, didn't feel very safe, didn't feel very secure, I think is the right word. And as a result, my need for security, or my desperation for security, manifested as wanting to be feared. Right? Like there was this part of me that wanted other people to look at me and not want to mess with this thing I am. Right? And I did grow up quickly, right? I was in my adult body by the age of 14. Right? I went through my growth spurt between 13 and 14, and it sucked ass, right? It hurt a lot. But then suddenly, I was one of the biggest kids, all right, in my age group. And it did change. It did change me. Suddenly there was a lot more testosterone flowing through my system, as you can imagine. And that testosterone manifested as wanting power, right? And power in its mind manifested as being feared, right? That I am so powerful that you won't even try to get me to use my power against you, right? And that was my teenage self. And I was very depressed, surprise, surprise, during that time of my life, because I didn't feel secure. I didn't feel like I knew who I am, where I am, what I'm supposed to do, why I'm here in the first place, you know. What is all of this? And it was easier for me to just build myself a little tower of importance, right? And then peer from that tower of importance at everyone else from up high. And then I started to change. I started to do things that society told me I shouldn't, right? I made friends that are less than conventional for the place that I'm from. I ate psychedelics that showed me a lot more than I was privy to. Right? All of us have access to information, but we filter out a lot of it. And then suddenly, after having lived my whole life as this thing I think I am, I get shown that I am more. So much more, in fact, that it will melt my mind if I had to try and conceive of just how much there is. And it changed me. It changed me irreversibly. It made me realize that being feared is not something to strive for. Made me realize that what I actually want in this life is love. Right? That the reason I wanted to be feared is because I was scared of not being loved. I'm not scared anymore. At least I don't think I am. Don't you freaking try and scare me. Puts up the fisticuffs. Know that you friends mean a lot. 100% security is real. Krios. It's nice seeing your name here with us, friend. I was a shitty teenager. I regret every single bit of it. Dear friend, who you were as a teenager have made you who you are right now. All right, and this version of you that regrets all of the things you did as a teenager wouldn't have all of these regrets, wouldn't have all of this capacity to recollect and reconcile and reflect on who you've been and who you've become, and to look at that version of you from a perspective of, I could have done better, right? I.e., good. Good that you're feeling those things, and be proud of yourself. Feel hopeful for the future that still awaits you because you've come to this point already. Some people never come to the conclusion that they aren't being good people. We were innocently born into a chaotic world. What has happened to this point in history wasn't our fault, but what happens in our future is our responsibility. This is so true. Beautifully said too. I think we have a bright future ahead of us. There's a mosquito that's landing on my microphones. You see, now I know about it. Instantly, my brain is like. Society hasn't been right or omnipotent. Their lies keep us stuck. Love is the only way. Oh, Gary Lee. Bro, there's 5 people watching right now, and you just less than 7 hours later and sends 555. Dude, you were so loved. Thank you for being amongst us, you alien, you. I'm so hopeful for the future, bro. So hopeful. You shouldn't ever come to that conclusion. God doesn't make mistakes. Yeah, agreed. I don't think there is such a thing as mistakes. I don't think there is such a thing as wrong and right, to be completely honest, even. I just think there is such a thing as everything. And within everything, get this, there's everything, including that which you would consider good and bad. For example, there are people on planet Earth right now firing firearms, right? Shooting bullet, pew pew, and then the bullet shooter make sound, all right? And again, it's not bad directly necessarily, but to me, it's not good. To me, it's not good, right? Because I hate it. I hate it so much. It makes sound. Big, big yikes. Don't make sounds. Stop it. Especially when they go quack, quack. Right? That's one of them. Then it costs money. One costs money to buy the thing that make pew pew. Lot money, actually. Like more money than I want to spend on anything really that's not literally going to benefit my life. This thing can murder people, but it cannot benefit my life. I remember. It doesn't benefit my life that much. Right? And then I proceed to use this potential people murderer to then shoot money, right? Yeah, -1 dara. -1 dara. -1. Hey Google, what does a 9mm round cost? I'm not seeing. Yeah, okay, 34 to 42 cents a round. Oh no, I really do hate that. Oh, I hate that so much. Yeah, okay, fine. Still, right? I don't really care if it's only 6 rand, right? It's still money that's being destroyed by. So in my world, right? I think this thing that's a part of the everything shouldn't be. However, in because of this everything, that's part of their everything, right? Of this everything that they have access to, they really like that part of the everything. This fly that fucking keeps landing on my face, I'll lose my shit, bro. It makes me want a gun. I get it. Okay, instantly, I thank you, universe, for teaching me this lesson. Okay, I couldn't tell anybody to be hopeful. In my world, it seems silly. Just let people think what they are gonna think. Yeah, I giggled for that. The everything thing. Good, Krios. I did try and add some comedy to it. It's because be hopeful comes across as dismissive to people who are struggling and can't hope. Hoopy, you're one. You're one of a kind. Wouldn't tell people to be hopeful. In my world, it seems silly. Just let people think what they're gonna think. Yeah, sure, sure. But again, people usually think if they're gonna think negatively historically, right? People think in panicking ways. People think in negative ways. People think in less than hopeful ways. And surprise, surprise, when people come together and they think hopefully, change happens for the good, right? So you could say, Sam and Hoopy, that be hopeful comes across as dismissive for people that are struggling and can't hope. But if that is the case, right? If people are going to continue down that path of struggle and hopelessness, the only thing that can be shared of value is hope. You know, for a better time, hope for when the sounds stop, right? Hope for when I can have some peace and quiet in my mind. I only heard blanks. So the fake fear. I giggled for in everything there is everything. True statements make me smile. Yeah, it is a real one, right? It is a real one because it kind of like puts it into context where we are. Me and my friends, me and Christian, came to this epiphany, if you will, on a heroic experience. All right, we communed with the mycelium, with these fractal intelligences, and it was like a full 5 gram experience. And we went through it. We went through it together, and over we came to this conclusion that we asked for everything. Right, thinking of it from this perspective of you being a child to the universe, right? Like you were born as consciousness into the universe, and the universe asked you, what do you want? The universe asked you, what do you want? And you said everything. You said you wanted everything. And now we're getting it. Now we're getting everything. All right? It might be weirdly distributed, but the everything is being had. Don't you be mistaken. Don't you be mistaken. All right, and then it's just a matter of how do we cope with having everything, right? That's a lot. That's a lot to have. Everything? Jeez. What am I going to do with all of this everything? I never mind even money. How about all of reality right around you at all times? That's where you are. Right? That's where all of us are. It is quite ridiculous. I'm going to hit this Dynavap, and then I'm probably going to finish this vertical stream. Start up the horizontal one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, yes, yes. Joyous feeling you friends being here in this moment with me. I am hopeful. I am hopeful for the future because I cannot afford not to be. Right? I am amongst the generation of people who are struggling and can't hope in so many words. Right? I am amongst a generation of people that cannot hope to own property ever in their lives, right, of the current system. I am amongst a generation of people who cannot hope to find work. 50% of people my age is already unemployed in my country, and that number is only going to increase with AI. I'm amongst a generation that cannot hope to have children because of how expensive it has become and how inaccessible it is to the average person. Right? And in that way, I can keep listing things that takes away my hope. Or I can do as I did in today's stream and remind myself of the things that are hopeful. Because those things are also a part of the everything. Just as much as the parts that take our hope from us. You are Melt. Melt, you are. Melt is an artful creation. I have spent a lot of time making what MeltMore is. MeltMore is losing his mind right now with those sounds. I fucking hate that so much. I really do. More than I can verbalize properly. This is why I went so hard to learn everything. Simulation can give everyone their own universe. Yeah, and that's probably not even far away. I watched a Lex Friedman podcast with, is it Charles Haskins? Hey Google, who is Charles Haskins? No, not the right person. Hodginskins? Who is Charles Hodginskins? Also not the right one. Man, I kind of feel bad. Let's see if I can get this name. It has to be something like that. There we go. Charles Hoskinson. And one of the things they were talking about is simulation theory, and they were talking about uh, where things are going. And Lex Friedman, that is who the podcast host was talking about how he sees a future of hope in thinking how every single one of us might simulate our own universe and live in that. Where Charles Hoskinson shared he doesn't think that's a hopeful future to live within, because there will be this disappearance of people from our world and they won't be able to add value in that way. They were talking about how maybe in the future a lot of our economy or a lot of our future economy will be powered by people playing games and participating in these virtual worlds. So yeah, it's true. I am hopeful that we're going to be together no matter where the future takes us. I thank you, friends, for being together here with me today in this vertical live stream. I'm going to start up the next one on the horizontal. I love you, friends. See you again soon.